gotta kind of go over there to turn it off. Yeah. Why everybody else has to sit down on those chairs to turn it on. Okay, we're on the wrong, yeah.
John Grace told me that Anand gets to do his science presentation via online. Did you know that? He doesn't have to go to Albany.
I thought it was just canceled
I think he's got to present the thing. Grace always seems to find so much humor in all of this. And I think they're still doing it, but now he's got to be like in front of the screen presenting.
He seemed a little disappointed to not have to do the, I think, when you're at an age where you've just started driving, like a drive to Albany is kind of cool. I don't know. For all of those things. I don't want to go to Albany.
I think they're trying to get out of the next science fair altogether, though.
This is soccer works. I thought they should get. That been here all along? Oh, how did I not notice this?
Couple months.
Oh, funny. Yeah, because I was like,
I never saw it. You're much more observant than I am. I didn't notice.
This is different.
Are you scared of Corona?
I'm scared for my daughter and her newborn.
Yeah.
My daughter's teaching. Congratulations, by the way.
No.
Oh, she
Yeah.
is? Oh, my
Teaching in
gosh.
her shell.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick, I'm
Yep.
so
And
sorry.
the governor goes on.
And they didn't
on record
close the
today-
schools there?
The governor goes on record today saying New Rochelle School should be closed for at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Superintendent.
Sure, sure.
Superintendent says, no, until somebody comes down with it in the school, we're not closing.
How close do you have to get, right?
Scarsdale closed because they had one kid
I
that lives
saw.
in Scarsdale, but he goes to the yeshiva that.
My friend works for Consumer Reports, and because somebody had come back from Milan, I think it was, and contracted it. They're all working remotely now, so
The kids think it's just a matter of time before everything closes.
I think so.
I think they're trying to give it to each other.
I have to say, I was pretty proud of several weekends. People were my husband's a dentist. So finally this morning, I swear right before he went to work, I said, is this stuff really necessary that people have to have their cleaning? You could put it off for, that's what they do.
Dentistry, that is an issue. Yeah, I can
It's
see
a
people.
huge issue, 'cause everything becomes a vapor. So you know what we do? We got
daughter's teaching in
disposable
New Rochelle.
lab coats, booties, here, the caps. So we got everything disposable, but I said, why don't you give it a couple of weeks and see how it settles out? So, it's working,
My daughter's, like I said, going to school,
Nice to get your job, so.
working in New Rochelle. My son left for a cruise.
A cruise.
And you got
What about 10 people? Out of Miami.
Just decide, just
To Saudi Arabia.
A big ship then.
Actually, it's one of the small ones. It's like 2,000 people on the boat. Oh. It's something. It's like 6,000.
He couldn't do his money back and just like.
No, he wanted to go. No, they were giving a lot of.
My son just came back to US, so. His
They got all
wife's
kinds of-
expecting,
They got all kinds of great activities.
That's true.
yeah.
My
Well, if
senior,
there's no one on the boat, maybe that's better then.
Yeah.
my senior college son's at Daytona Beach, so I don't know what's worse.
He is too. I don't know. My
Yeah, the town of Beach may have other kinds of diseases.
I said, I wish they'd run out of alcohol, though, they do Purell.
Yeah.
well, they could always use it. Right? All the things we write about, you never think of these kinds of things. Like when we bought a building, we picked it up. Like, trying to cover all bases. And my son was in Thailand for the
My
tsunami.
wife goes through her paramedic bags, and this is what she came up with last night. 13 bottles of
Wow.
hand sanitizer. She can sell them for.
Yeah, really?
Make sure your daughter.
On the open market.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I was like a struggle.
Go in here.
So I can't say how much it is.
We will call the architecture, Irvington Architecture Review Board to order.
Yeah, look at it.
As is always the case, we will go in order in the order in which they were received. So we will start with, at the bottom, ARB 20-11, 55 Meadow Way, and work our way up.
Pictures?
So this is an application to replace an existing one-story addition. You can see, if you look closely at the pictures, this is probably not built properly. I think and we're basically replacing it in kind, a couple of changes just to the windows, but slight modifications. The only other thing that we're doing is to create a bit of an overhang. You can see in the existing pictures, there's no overhang there, which is part of the problem. It's really gotten a lot of rot. The whole thing is basically falling apart. They need to take it down, and we're basically just going to rebuild it in kind.
So windows, one of the things that the drawings say, or the application says that siding and trim to match, but on the plan, if you look at that plan down below, it's showing siding there on the left, but I don't know why I don't see it on the right.
I'm sorry, where?
The lower picture, yeah.
Here.
That's the new,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, the existing siding, I didn't render the existing siding, just so you
okay,
can
I just want to make sure
differentiate.
that's,
Yeah.
that it is there.
It is there, yeah. You can see, and also I submitted the existing, I don't think I rendered them on the existing drawings either, but it's there, you can see it in the picture.
That's why I asked, because I didn't see it.
Does the siding match?
It's going to match, it's not gonna be the same material, it's gonna be a composite, but the height and the color will be painted to match the existing.
You said the windows were...
Slightly different, only in the sense that, they are now, they're actually not, sorry, I apologize, this is not drawn correctly, they're 2 and 2. So they wanted to keep the group a little bit closer together instead of having them spread out. And rather than have a divider in the middle of the room, they wanted to have the window there. So the only way to do that would have been to put 5 windows, which they didn't want to do, so we went to 3.
Replace 4.
Exactly, so that the middle is not a divider.
You're also not showing dividers in the windows.
Yes.
It is, because like I said, you look at that drawing,
It looks like 6 over 1 on the new drawing.
Yeah, I think they're only on the top. Let me come sorry. Let me make sure. Oh, 6 over 6. Yeah, we'll do it with 6 over 6. Because all the others will keep it 6 over 6. I'll make that note.
so if there are windows on the side of that as well, is that, will they be replaced as well?
Yes.
Okay. Same way, 6 over?
Yes.
Gentlemen, any questions? No.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the window schedule, so double, triple instead of the 4.
Correct.
And otherwise, the windows are exactly the same color.
Same color, same
everything else.
size.
Okay, just want to make sure that's and you don't care, Rick, right, that the actual schematic doesn't show that? Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want a copy of that?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely.
Actually, take that. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, we'll move on to the next application, ARB 20-12, 121 South Broadway. Deck. So that's here. One, okay. We will move on to ARB 20-13, 157 West Clinton Avenue, solar panels.
Hi, I'm Chris Hale with Sun Blue Energy, the contractor. So the solar panels are going out the back and the side of the house. 4 solar arrays on the roofs. And then the conduit's gonna come down the side of the house to the utility.
Can you explain, I mean, is that the way the roof looks now?
No, this is just a big example of what the solar panel.
Oh, yeah, so, but the actual roof material is not that,
No, it is that.
but it's,
Yeah. Use the Chemlink flashing.
so. Is this,
Yeah,
that's the roof? Well, there aren't too many questions that I have when it comes to conforming to the solar codes, but I will ask, in looking at the technical information, I see that the supports for the array are showing 4 inches high, but I don't see what it says here? From the roof to the bottom of the array is 4 inches. I just need something to look at that tells me what the height of the actual panel is. It doesn't show it on, I don't think I see it on it.
The panels that you can shoot at.
Okay. I didn't see it anywhere, and I just want to make sure that it's not going to go past the 6-inch height requirement. You answered one of my questions here, that you did notify everybody, and I will ask the board if they have any questions, concerns.
No, so 34 panels,
Yeah.
can you see them in front of the house? No, no. Okay, what color are they?
I drove to the next block. I mean, I don't think there's, the one neighbor right behind them, I'm sure can view them, but other than that, you don't see them from the front of the door.
Can you show these conduit runs across the roof? What actually is that?
Oh,
It's gonna be steel pipes from.
Yeah, EMT, it's not gonna be in the attic. If we could fit it in the attic, then it could go to the attic. That's just straight pipe run.
I think you have a diagram in here, how they're going to wire together. Showing here how they string detail, which is, really, you don't see that too often.
So you get it somewhere.
Huh? What?
So you get it somewhere.
Yeah. That shows you the run, they go down.
I'm just wondering, if there's any pipes.
I would imagine you're governed by law when it comes to conduit. Okay, gentlemen, any questions? Lady? Any questions from the audience? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Exercise?
Thanks. Great, thank you. Take this.
Hey, see you. Thanks. Before I move on to ARB 20-14. I will recall ARB 20-12, 121 South Broadway deck.
Yep. Is this also for a fence or had
Yeah, like-
posted for a fence as well? Okay.
Yeah, it's the new fence 4-inch high, red cedar fence.
Perfect.
Yep.
So what we're looking to do is replace an existing deck that's in the back of the house. Got a picture of the old deck.
We have
Yeah.
those, yeah, we have. Yeah.
So right now, it's really not a usable deck. The owner would like to increase the size and change the look of it. So what we're gonna propose to do is create more of a cable railing style with some newel posts that go every 6 or 8 feet, depending on the structure itself. And everything else is gonna be a composite decking. And colors will be like gray for the flooring, cable railing will be like a stainless steel color, and the newel post will be white. Pretty straightforward application as far as the deck.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any questions. Lighting's gonna conform to the code for Irvington.
Yep.
I'm required to have a code outside of the deck, but it'll be a downlight, so it won't be shining to the neighbor's property.
Are you changing windows?
Windows were changed, yeah, as part of, not this application, I don't think they need.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Picture.
Yep. They changed the siding of the house and they changed the windows, and that was, we needed to
The
get,
registration's here, actually. Oh,
for the windows?
I think so.
Not that I know, that wasn't me.
This is
so-
121, right? Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm at the planning board too, so,
Yeah, we were in front of the planning board, yes, a
All right.
bunch of times.
so that might be what I'll take it up.
Yeah, we had to, and we also had to get a variance because we're over on the coverage, which we did receive.
Mhm.
So windows are not part of this, they're, we just, they replaced the windows in kind.
Okay. So now let's go to the fence.
Sure. Fence is gonna be
Well, before we do that, the railing you said was what?
a cable railing, it's
Okay.
gonna be 4 inches per code, so that a 4-inch spear can't go through them, so
Less
they're kind of
than-
tight, yep.
Less than 4.
Yep, less than 4 inches, thank you. And that's along, the backside, the 2 sides in the back. The house is here, so I don't need any railings back there.
So could you show on, you just trace the area where that fence is gonna be?
The fence?
Yeah.
Along the property line on this side.
Okay, it does say that on your, all
Yeah.
right. Just wanted to make sure. No gates on that back fence?
No gates, no. It's to replace an old chain link fence. And I don't know how to pick the red cedars. It's red cedar is the type of wood, and they're gonna paint it gray. And I think that's gonna look really nice. Complement the house, because the house is white.
Is the drawing that's showing that the fence had the same type of fence? And
It's a similar style. I was trying to find something online, but this is, I wanted to show the height and the color of it, but it's not, the center posts I think will be a little different. They'll be, I don't think they'll be passing the top of the fence. They'll have a cap, so it's very similar. Just the idea of not a vinyl fence and not white would be nice. So it shows a gray cedar fence, and I think that's a nice choice.
just look to see if there's anything on these drawings that show the fence.
No, it does not, because it was something that, is there, I mean, a picture was gonna, to me, she had asked me at the last minute, can you bring that to the architecture review board? I said, sure, but I don't have any drawings for it. So the building inspector had asked to show where we were gonna put it on the property line, and to present a sample.
So explain the fence again, because it's gonna have to go on the drawings,
Okay.
the description of the fence.
It's gonna be,
We could see, where it is.
where it's gonna be 4 foot high,
4 foot.
yep. It's going to be red cedar, which is the wood, painted gray. And it's gonna look like slats, basically, that, with no spacing, so you can't see through. It's gonna be non-transparent.
Is this it?
It's similar to that. Similar to that. That's
Your
a lot.
caps are gonna be lower?
Yes, it's lower, but this is,
Oh, well, you can
It's just
see
a-
it here. the color,
yeah, that's just
obviously.
horrible, yeah.
Okay.
It's too much to
And
make.
the same type of cap? That's not
Same type of cap, yeah. I could tell them to do it just that way. I like the way that looks, so I can tell them just to follow that picture.
Well, in order to approve it, or for you to propose it to be approved tonight, I have to make some notes on the actual drawings that I'm approving to this effect. So 4-foot red cedar painted gray slats with flat caps.
Yep.
Okay. Gentlemen, questions?
So what is the surrounding? So where does it run?
Just that one side. It's an existing chain link fence that's gonna be replaced.
What's existing here that it's connecting to?
What's?
Nothing.
Does-
You're just
just
gonna
a-
have it run
A
along?
privacy, yeah, just a privacy fence.
Nothing on the side.
It's not connected.
What does it have to be connected to? I don't follow.
It doesn't have to be, it's just unusual for a fence to just start and stop nowhere.
Well, it's gonna start at
It's
the
like
top
a
of the...
barrier, if it's not, usually fences enclose something.
Well, they don't wanna do it on the front of the house because there's this nice stone wall there, so
Yeah.
it'll connect to the stone wall, if you will.
There's nothing in the back.
Nothing on the back, no. No, it's just proposed for this side. So there's a stone wall here that it'll connect to,
I saw it, yeah.
and the back is, I think, there's a couple of trees, so there's no reason to have a fence there.
Dilapidated.
Yeah, the chain link fence is really bad condition.
Had you considered staining it instead of painting it?
It'll be an opaque stain.
Okay. Gentlemen, once again, any questions? No. Very good. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the application as amended? And the amendment is to incorporate the fact that it's a 4-foot high red cedar, painted gray, in a slatted fashion with flat caps. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
You know, you might want to consider doing the uprights in the same color. The uprights in the same color. Only because it's become so stylistic by, by what you did, it might sort of fight with the house, the style of the house. I have a very similar fence, it's all one color, and I just think, given the house, it might be a little bit much, so.
So you're saying to follow that picture?
I think I would paint it all one color,
All
as
one color.
opposed to doing all those details on it, because it's a little formal for that kind of a house, so. It's a humble house.
Yes.
so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving along. ARB 20-14, 41 Dogwood Lane, solar panels.
Thank you. Doug Ertz for the applicant, Sunrise Solar Solutions. We're proposing a single array on the home. It's a rectangle. The modules are all black. We're compliant in all aspects from what we can determine. Panels sit approximately, there's about a 3.5-inch airspace below the panels, so the top panels sit approximately 5 inches above the roof in plane of the roof. There'll be no conduit or anything else showing. We're going straight into matting. And there'll be a disconnect on as you're looking at the house on the right-hand side, on the side of the house where the utilities enter the house.
With the, is this photograph showing the fact that the back of the house doesn't get the same sun as the front of the house does? Because I'm just looking at the original picture of this picture here, and it shows that the back of the house might be a viable alternative to the front of the house, the array.
So the house faces almost due south. I'm sure the sun is in the south in the northern hemisphere.
On a severely sloped roof, I would say that's a valid.
Customer would lose about 30% of the switching from the front load to the rear load.
Except our solar code asks all possibilities for putting it on, not on the front of the house were made possible or were investigated.
Absolutely. And the customer strongly would like to make use of the solar panels and not have them be partially turned off.
Even the roof pitch is pretty low, even
It
with
is.
the low roof pitch, you would still lose that much.
Yes.
The concern I have is obviously that this is a front-facing house with 44 solar panels facing a street, on a street that you don't otherwise have any other house that has front-facing that you can see. The only other house we approved, which I was not in favor of, was at the end of Dogwood on the left-hand side, and it's perched up high, and you cannot see the solar panels from the street.
No, that has to, yes.
So, I think this is gonna be very visible.
So these are black on black panels with black frames, black edges. It's like having a nice black rectangle on top.
But there's nothing you can do about convincing the homeowner to put them in the back. Because you couldn't put more than 44 if you put them in the back? And try to recoup some of that 30% loss that you.
I'm
that you-
sure they welcome a,
Have you had,
$50,000 deposit from the board to offset the losses over time. It's that level of loss.
If you added more to make up for the loss.
because you don't have it on the entire front of the house, I'm saying if you added more panels to the back.
Right, so that's an expense. So if someone wants to pay for, adding a third to the cost of their system to do the same thing, I'm sure they'd be amenable, but,
I'm sure they would, but
Not exactly.
people generally use solar panels so that they can save money, not lose money.
And how does it work? Did the neighbor across the street get notice of solar panels?
I can tell you who did.
Did you run the numbers with the owner and present the back of the house, or are you just saying rule of thumb or?
I'm giving you a rule of thumb. I don't handle the residential division. So the salesman would have had that discussion.
Salesman know that we have a code in town about.
Yes, and we've, looking for you many times before. We've always been asked for rectangular arrays, but when it's on front of the house,
Symmetrical arrays is what we ask for.
complied with. The house is asymmetrical and that has a vent off center in the front.
Is there any sort of testing that you guys can show that shows the actual loss by putting it on the
Yes,
backside?
it's very quantitative.
You know that the documents from the building department show,
neighbors were notified.
that the neighbors were notified.
Sorry to make you look, but I mean, it wasn't in the packet for weeks, so I just wanted to make sure everyone has been.
Item number 6. Yeah, here we are.
You're across the street, it's- I think it's Main Street. And I voted for the other one, but it's a totally different.
It looks like, again, I'd have to ask if you know more, but it looks like the neighbors to the right and the left were notified, not the neighbor across the street. Do you have any?
I can't give you any information where my office files the code. We check with building department whenever we're before like this. Generally speaking, we're told we're not allowed to put on the agenda unless it's properly noticed. So we assume because we were on your agenda that you accept the notice requirements.
Well, and that's, you took the notice from.
It looks like it's
Item
either
number 6
side.
was checked and they were checked. But you're right, there's only a few.
It's only the only ones that were notified are to the right and the left of Dogwood, according to that, not across the street,
One was Field Point.
which is behind. You don't happen to have I didn't bring the binder. Do you know what's required?
For what?
Did the neighbor across the street have to be notified?
Within 200 feet of the property line, which would account for across the street.
Okay. For me personally, I'm not in a position to approve it tonight because I'm not comfortable with that. One, it's front facing, but I know that you say it'd be a great cost and it's a complicated calculation to understand why you can't go on the back and how you lose money and power if it's in any other spot. But considering that I don't see that the neighbor across the street has been notified and they're going to be the ones most impacted by the solar panels, I'm not in a position to approve it tonight.
So with all due respect, why were we allowed to come before your board if you didn't accept the notice requirements?
You're always, as long, you may have your documents in.
Right.
The fact that it's on the front of the house is usually a non-starter for us. But
That's not what Ms. Hargreaves just said. She said because the neighbor wasn't notified,
Well-
not because it's on the front of the house. She
No,
also noticed that
It's
next
an
to it was on the
additional
front of the house.
factor.
It's an additional factor. So are we improperly noticed or are we disinclined to vote and we are properly noticed?
For me, there's two factors. One is front facing, I'm not convinced from what I'm hearing, seems like that it can't be in another location.
It can be in many other locations. It will lose the home for money. It's as if you bought a car and someone asked you to drag around 1,000-ton rock for the length of time that you own the car. It will absolutely impact. If you'd like to quantify that, we can do that. But absolutely, it's a matter of hard science that it will impact. Quantifying
You'll miss the south facing side.
yeah, I mean, quantifying the dollars that they'll lose, I mean, how do we, if you'd like to do that? I didn't really realize that, aesthetic decisions were based on exactly how much money they would lose. That's never been the discussion here before.
you brought that up, we did.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for exact numbers. Look, I think you understand, you've obviously been before us before, that what we're trying to balance is the character of the neighborhood and the value that the homeowner across the street has in their property as well. So I'm sensitive to how much this would cost your client to put the solar panels in the other location. You're introducing something on Dogwood that will be a first, that will be highly visible, and I'm not confident that the neighbor across the street understands that this is going to go forward. So I'm not in a position at this point to approve this unless I know that the neighbor has been notified. You may have a neighborhood that is welcoming solar panels, and that's going to be the look of Dogwood. So right now, you're the first applicant before us that is going to be seeking to do this. So before we approve it, I would like to make sure from the chair that there's been proper notification. While I respect
So
and
how do we-
accept that you say it has been done, I still need, we've had problems before with the department and making sure that we have the right things that we need to approve.
Right, so how do we affirmatively prove that?
You can ask us to vote on it tonight, and we can do that, or we can postpone it till the next meeting and make sure that all the documents are in fact included, and that everybody that was supposed to have been notified was notified.
Okay, why don't we put this off to the next meeting? And we'll find a way to verify that we can.
I will speak directly to the building department to make sure that this was in fact properly noticed and received.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
And it makes sense.
And just your comment about value, quantitative information from the Assessors Association announced that the value of homes goes up substantially with solar, and has had zero impact.
As long as it's not your house.
On bringing down anyone else's. As a matter of fact, usually it's considered to be progressive negative. So values tend to go up, even when you do it on the neighboring home. So, okay, but I appreciate it. Where you're coming from. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Okay, moving on, 20-15, 48 Kingsley Close, addition.
Very similar in architecture.
We don't get crazy like they do on.
I know, you've been very quiet about that, so. Very similar in architecture, representing the idleness. The project is for project's for an addition in the place of an existing porch on the rear of the house. The house currently, it's on a lot that slopes to the rear, and it has a walkout basement right now, and there's a deck on the back with very simple lattice, and so we're doing an addition basically in that same area as the deck. The floor of this addition is below the current basement grade, so there's a few steps down, there's a room down below. So the plan of the addition is in that area of the deck. This is an existing finished basement, there's stairs down, there's an office, a guest room, and a bathroom, and a space. On the floor of the deck, there'll be, where the deck was, there'll be a roof deck and a pergola structure. So this is the rear elevation. The side of the deck that's in front of the stairs, sort of connected to this section, has siding to match the house, has windows that are more similar to the house type of window with divisions, and to this area here has modern windows that are meant to be in the same language as these sliders, but really what they want from the interior, they want this kind of modern office space, and they want just wide open views of the rear yard. So these windows are meant to not read like punctures, they're meant to read more like storefront or curtain wall, and they're just a black frame, very open window with no divisions. Right now the house already has these black framed sliders in this area, so we're tying the two together.
So none of them are operable in terms of doors?
They're not, yeah, there's no access out there. Actually, the floor is like, you know, the floor of that room is below this sill level, like a few feet below. What else to show on this? I think on the two sides of it, you can see the pergola piece, right? So this is the bedroom side. These are high windows above a bed position. There's wood stairs going up, railing, step lights. There's some lighting that's shown that's dark sky compliant. There's a few sconces and some step lights. And then,
So you know I have to ask the obligatory question about the lighting?
yeah, it's all dark sky. The, on this side here, we're not showing any siding. It's in an area it makes more sense to connect to the parging on the foundation, so there's a little bit of stucco here. So this would just be the windows with the black frames, and then it was stucco to match.
Continuation around the corner?
Yeah, around the inside. I don't know if you guys have any other questions on this. It's in the back of the house. It doesn't really have a visual impact to any of the neighbors. We were just trying to,
Pergola material?
pergola is it's going to be a cedar. It'll either be a cedar or it's another wood that's not being used.
But
in
it's
places.
wood.
Yeah, it's wood. It's wood.
Wood painted white?
Yes, wood painted white. In terms of the colors of the house, there is a fiber cement siding on it, like a hardy board on it now. So the siding will match that hardy board. I don't think it's painted. I think it's the hardy board gray, whatever that is. And then the trim, everything else will be painted to white. Just the existing trim.
The windows that are above the patio on the left, those are existing or?
These up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the existing. So yeah, the pergola was designed to work with the existing window pattern that was in there. Yeah. The pergola only has 2 columns. Right about that line that looks like a column there is actually the window division, so.
That works. The railings and fencing material? I mean,
The railings are, they're a mahogany top
actually, no,
rails.
I did read that.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I think it's all painted white. The client at one point had us looking at metal baluster instead of the wood. So right now it's wood. I think it's just simpler for.
You answered the questions I have, John.
Yeah, that's good.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You're not fully paperless.
It's a good sign when you walk out getting a hernia, because it means you passed it and we've given up our time.
Yeah, I think you want the award for the largest.
Yeah.
So this, we only submit, we don't submit the full sets. Try to limit it with you guys, and then Ed yells at us because
Now we got a real tough one.
Yeah. I want you to go on this one, get on this one. Goes in there.
Yep. I do actually have a question, but I'll wait till you.
Oh, so, Malone Ferguson Architecture representing the
Hudson North.
Hudson North Management. Okay, thanks. So this is a replacement of a playground in the southern part of Hudson. So it's a back, yeah.
Half Moon South.
Half Moon South. The scope is for new play equipment and new surface. So right now there's a asphalt with some fall surface, the cast and play surface, and some old play equipment. They're just replacing it. They're replacing the chain link fence, 2 pieces of play equipment. We're most likely going to make one little modification to stormwater, just because the existing stormwater is in the fall area with the play equipment, and they couldn't get it out of there for some reason. And then there's the sidewalk, flat work that's associated with making an ADA entrance on one side.
Well, let me ask you, has this been has Hahn Engineering chimed in on this, as far as the drainage is concerned, or is it?
It didn't go to planning board, so we did the drainage directly. I don't know if they're gonna have, it's not a modification to the drainage pattern, it's just like the inlet, right, the inlet's
It's gonna
being removed.
incorporate the new floor, ground.
Right, so we're like, basically, this whole thing's being passed, this inlet is low in this location, so we're just moving it to a strip inlet here and then piping it back into the same place it was going.
Similar to what you're showing on the lower right.
Yeah, so there's the new strip drain. This is the cylindrical drain body that's there now, and then this will just pipe across.
So you're showing that the ground, the flooring material, the ground material is green in color. Is that in fact one of the colors that you're showing here, or you haven't?
There is, let me see if I can find
It's a mix. It's 50 black, 50 green.
it. Right, so this
I mean,
thing
that's
here,
for reference.
Right.
We use the green, but the actual material, it's attached also to the package. It's
This one?
that one. And it will be the green one, 50 green, 50 black, that one.
so, but I think it's not this, right? It's
No,
a
it's
mixture
not.
of this and that, or
No,
no?
no, no, it's
just
that
this.
one.
It's
If
that.
you scroll one more up.
No, it's, well, it's just there.
Those are the original
Oh,
colors.
I see what you're saying.
So they mix that green with that black. and
Okay,
it
so then
becomes-
they
this
mix
is
it up.
actually
They
the
mix
operable
50-50,
sample.
and that's what it would look like.
That's fine.
Or you could do this.
No.
Yeah, that's a little.
But this is actually the coloration of the equipment though.
It is.
So it's, this is accurate for the equipment, just not the surface. It's actually kind of subdued.
Well, for little kids, they don't, no. Any questions, Sarah?
There's a fence?
There's a
Yeah.
vinyl coated black chain link fence, which is an upgrade of what's there. We asked them about whether we were gonna add fabric, and, you know, like, what is that called, the slats, but they don't want to do that.
Okay.
You have anything on the drawing kind of showing the fence?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
The bottom right.
you should
It should be comfortable.
I know, I see that, I know.
I didn't know if there was anybody from the complex that they requested that John present.
Yeah.
All right.
They thought you were gonna give them a hard time with this one.
As board president McCall, they thought I was gonna be.
Yeah, I know, I just thought it really.
Are you gonna keep two baby swings, or are you gonna put a little regular one?
Those are the ones.
My mother lives downstairs.
Yeah.
Even though we own the apartment.
You're one of many, so it's not like you have anything. Okay. Drainage repair, landscape plan. There was no landscape plan with this, right?
Oh, yeah, it was a, no, there's no landscaping. There's no landscaping.
This is behind the buildings, like facing the river.
The river.
Yeah, so it's
To the
really,
south. That's what I have.
in one of the southern, there's a couple of different bays, so to speak,
The
between.
second bay, I think. or-
Yeah, there was another one that was done, I don't know whether it's north or south.
One is like all the way south.
Yeah,
And this must be like right after.
I think it's the
that avenue
first
that-
bay south of the
Yes.
middle.
first place in the south.
Yes, first bay and
There's that
south.
driveway that kind of separates the two.
They have clotheslines on asphalt, and then they have this to the west of the clotheslines on asphalt.
Okay, well, you answered my questions. Anybody have any other questions? Ladies, good? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Thanks, John.
Love.
Nice to see you as well.
Nice to see you all.
We'll see more of you. Here's this if you'd like it.
John.
John is
And
gonna
John
start
Stolwer.
sending me.
Oh my God.
He wants to join us. No, I would join, I mean. I don't mind.
All right, just a comment about the solar situation. I couldn't find it. I was looking desperately to find the village code. And the village code speaks directly to doing everything you can to try to keep the solar array out of the front of the house, especially if it's a, fairly highly traveled thoroughfare. But there's also, other things that
The
they have.
historic codes also have, you have to provide a cost differential. Like sometimes in historic
Yeah.
codes, like they say.
There's
well,
certainly-
that's too
it's a high
expensive. You have
range.
to say, well, tell us the difference. Right, so
Yeah.
it's right, it's hard to, what was it?
I think he was just annoyed that he wasn't going to get past tonight. He blacked out on.
It's gonna be really
reality.
bad.
Or,
You know, it's
it
great
may be the
size.
right answer, it's just that without any specific data, how do you decide on that?
I mean, the one picture you look at shows tremendous sun on both sides of the roof.
But you would miss the southern facing, you know, the prominent sun most of the day because of it's totally southern facing in front of the house.
I give an opportunity.
But you're right,
I
it's
give an
not
opportunity to say that
obliterated,
the,
you know, there's no shade
back
on the
is-
roof.
is-
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah, bye-bye.
shaded. Anyway, I'll straighten it out with Ed. We'll come back to, you may want to, if you're going to be at the next meeting, you may want to read the code and see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Because
I
there are,
think what
there's
Deb
very
said was
specific.
critical, because if they were omitted across the street, I mean, I would be annoyed if I didn't know when that thing was going in there,
course.
so.
And that's going to be if we find out that they didn't, for whatever reason,
No,
It's
of
not gonna look
course.
good for
No,
them.
we would be remiss.
it's not going to
so,
look good for them.
yeah.
And you're right, if we didn't check, normally, like the other array had six different or seven different contacts. That's probably an indication that they got everybody that was, around. But to have, two or three,
He gave us the address, they're on either side of the house. Yeah.
which, I mean, all the houses across the street, and across the street is higher.
It's higher, that's what we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, considerably higher, so you're looking straight down on it,
Yeah.
And then we talk usually about glare, if that's the case. And
Yeah, but you will have, now, as long as you mention that, in the learning sequences that we've gone through with the county, going to, with WCC for those in learning areas, they will tell you, they think it's a joke, the county, about glare. Well, come talk to, Chad Morton and see what he has to say about it.
he was serious.
Oh, he was PO'd because, we let him have it and it was way up top. But in fact, he's sitting at his dinner, at his breakfast table and there's glare,
Well,
coming right into his apartment.
They probably don't think of
His house.
the kind of hills that we have, and this is off of Harriman sort of indirectly, but.
All we need to know is that they've, all we can ask is that they contemplated
I know.
the fact that,
And his little sales pitch about it increasing the value, maybe of that guy's.
well, that's what I said.
But
to
I
him.
even,
said right to him, I said,
frankly,
"It's
if
gonna
any
be
of
a
us
short
were
house."
gonna buy that house, we wouldn't find that appealing either, because it's just so stuck on in the middle of this roof, it's not integrated in any way. And from the other side, it's definitely a detractor, so he was giving us the same sales pitch they give the customers,
course.
I mean, you couldn't be rude, but it was like, come on.
Does it show in the code the angle, like to the house that has to be at? Can it be tilted?
It has to be, well, it has to be flush with the roof.
Has to be flush with the,
I
so
mean,
if you
no more than
had something
6
put in
inches
the
from the
back,
roof.
it wouldn't be able to change the angle to get
No.
more.
No, this.
To my mind is they have to come out with the integrated roof tiles, which Tesla did already. They failed the first time, but they're out again. They've been out again now for quite a while. And I think, I know, and I think all of these are going to look like sore thumbs because we're going to have a
They'll
better
look
product.
outdated before.
They will. I mean, they just, they
That's
do.
why they're trying to sell them as quickly as they can.
Exactly, right,
All right, do I
All
have
right,
a
yeah,
motion,
but I'll
motion
get,
to
I'll brush
adjourn?
up on it.
sure.
Second, all in favor? Aye, we're adjourned.